First, I wanted to thank you for having me in your studio and your home and everything. And this is Nina Paley, and she's here. She's a Flash animator. She's one.
I'm an animator who uses Flash.
You're an animator that uses Flash. Okay, that's very distinct. And she's won numerous awards around the world. And she used to be a cartoonist. Is that correct? Can you tell us a little about how you got into animation?
I was burning out of the daily comics.
Okay.
And I was doing a strip for National Syndicate, and I had to do the same thing over and over again. And I thought, what could I do that would be challenging and would pay even less money than comics? And so I got into animation. Also, I knew a couple filmmakers and animators in San Francisco where I was living at the time, and I borrowed a friend's Super 8 camera. And I was just starting to date somebody who had his own animation desk, and I was getting really jealous. So
cool.
Yeah, this was 1998.
Okay, cool. You know, what would you consider your big break? I mean, you got into comics, and then you made the transition over into, I guess, very simple 8mm
Yeah, what
animation.
What do you call a big break?
Like a big break, like, I mean, you didn't work for a studio. Was there a film that you
Because I don't know
consider your big break, or is it like a project that you worked on that led to a different film, or making a different film? Or is it who you met and what jobs they got you? I mean, it could be anything.
Yeah, well, it's all been, you know, it's never been for money. It's always been in relative. I mean, I don't know how actually I got less obscure. It's really kind of weird. Like, I think just like plugging away and having a website, I've gotten just gradually more and more people have heard about me and heard about what I'm doing. It's just been this really slow incline that I didn't really expect. But I will say that when I was living in San Francisco, one reason I did more animation after the first little Super 8 thing that I did was because of this band called Nick Phelps and the Sprocket Ensemble.
Oh,
Nick Phelps is
yeah.
Awesome composer, and they were doing live performances to animation in San Francisco, and I just gave them my first Super 8 film. And Nick made a great score for it and performed live with it, and people actually watched it, and that was enough motivation for me to keep doing it.
That's awesome. A lot of films. I mean, I've checked out your website. Which one is your favorite film?
The one I'm working on now.
The one you're working on now.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you're working on now?
Yes, I am making a feature film called Sita Sings the Blues.
Okay.
It is based on the Ramayana, which is an Indian epic. It's a very personal interpretation. It is not really a version of the Ramayana, or else it would be called the Ramayana.
Okay.
That's why it's called Sita Sings the Blues. And it's set to jazz from the 1920s.
Now there's tons of different styles that, I mean, I saw little clips on your website. It's more like a, I guess, Indian style mixed with like a jazz blues style?
It's just...
As far as the music versus the visuals?
Well, I don't know if the visuals you could really call Indian. They're just, I mean, the story's Indian.
Right.
There's Indian influences in the art. There's also every other influence in the art. I don't really keep track of all these influences. They just go in my subconscious, and there they are. I mean, this character is based on a Malaysian shadow puppet design. Yeah, I've got a little bit of Indonesian and Thai influence in the shadow puppet parts, and then I've got these collages. Let's see. I've got collages that are, you know, that's from an Indian postcard, that's from another part of my film.
And it just interacts with all different styles?
Yeah, I just throw stuff together.
Cool. And how long is the film going to be once it's done? Do you know?
I think it's going to be about 75 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's just you working here?
Yes.
That's it?
Well, there's the actors.
Oh, the actors,
that recorded their voices, and there's the sound designer, Greg Sestro. And some people did fresh music for it, quite a few people. Actually, Nick Phelps did a piece of music, and a guy named Todd Michelson, someone else named Rohan, and hopefully Rudresh Mahantapa, who's a jazz musician.
Cool. And so my next question is, it's a very traditional story that you're working with. How has technology influenced, the films that you're making now?
Expedience.
Expedience. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, there's no way I could have done this without my computer. People seem impressed that I'm doing it by myself, but it's really just I'm making the computer do all this work.
Because I know you have films that you scratched on film,
right.
even on IMAX film.
Right.
It's supposed to take forever.
That took about 3 months to scratch and
okay.
about a year to produce.
Okay. And so how long have you been working on this in compared to your other films? I mean, this is the largest project that you've ever worked on?
Yes. Without a doubt. If I put all the work periods together, it would be about 3 years.
Okay.
They were spread out over 5 years because I was also freelancing.
Okay.
And I have about 8 months to go.
8 months to go. And how many minutes do you think you have right now?
I have about 60 minutes.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, are you editing it as you're going along?
Yes.
Or, okay. So you have a complete 60 minutes that you could show someone, not me, or
well,
the
it's
viewers,
not.
right?
I mean, I have. It would be mixed in with about 5 minutes that are blank. Those 60 minutes. It's hard. It's there are some things that have sound that don't have a picture yet, but I don't count those in the 60 minutes.
Now, when you're totally done with the feature, where are you going to premiere it? Do you have any ideas of what's going to happen as far as distribution, or who you're going to show it to first, or what's going to happen with that?
Once I have enough done so that I have a rough cut that is appropriate to send to festivals, I'm just going to start sending it to festivals, and whatever good big festival takes it first, that's where it's going to premiere at. I don't know. And then hopefully I'll pick up a distributor at a festival.
That's awesome.
It's an art house film. It's not
a mainstream
it's not a mainstream
Pixar
film. No. No, it ain't Pixar.
Cool. Well, I want to thank you again, and great, thanks.